Hello plant lovers, winter is here and while our aglaonemas are still the stunning queens of foliage, have you noticed how their leaves start to look a little dull? The once shiny vibrant colors seem a bit faded, है ना? It's almost like they are in hibernation mode. Hold on, don't worry, this is completely normal. Let me tell you why. Shorter days means less light, which affects the plant's ability to produce chlorophyll. जो हमने साइंस में पढ़ा था स्कूल में या वही क्लोरोफिल. This is a pigment that gives their leaves that rich glossy color. Plus, the dry indoor air can make them lose some of their natural sheen. But guess what? With the right care, we can keep them looking as happy and healthy as possible, even in the dullest of winters. In today's video, I'll share exactly what I do to keep my aglaonemas thriving during winter. I'll show you my full collection and talk about watering, light, humidity, pruning, and even whether or not you should propagate them during this season. So, what are you waiting for? Let's get started. First, let's understand what makes winter so challenging for most of the plants and especially aglaonemas. Well, the lower temperatures, dry air, and shorter days can stress them out. You might notice slower growth, droopy leaves, or even some yellowing. This is completely normal, and with a few simple steps, we can keep these plants in check. Let's talk light. Aglaonemas love bright, indirect light, but in winters, the sun shifts and natural light becomes weaker. So, move your plants closer to a window like I have done here, preferably an east or north facing one where they can get soft morning light. But avoid direct sunlight, it can scorch their leaves even in winter. And if your home doesn't get enough light, invest in grow lights. Trust me, it's a game changer. I use this one here for the darker corners and my aglaonemas love it. Watering is where most people go wrong in winter. Aglaonemas need less water because their growth slows down and overwatering can quickly lead to root rot. My golden rule is check the top 1 to 2 inches of soil. If it's dry, water. If it's still damp, wait a few more days. Let me share a quick story about how forgiving these plants can be, but also how quickly they can go downhill if we are not careful. One summer, I went on vacation for about 12 days. When I came back, some of my plants were completely dead and others had droopy leaves begging for water. But my aglaonema lipstick, it was standing tall, looking so perfect, I thought it might as well be a fake plant. No stress, no droop, it was like the vacation didn't even happen. But here's the twist. A few months later, I managed to kill that very same plant, and guess what? It wasn't neglect, it was overwatering. I got too eager thinking it needed more love and ended up drowning it. The moral of the story? Aglaonemas are champs when it comes to surviving drought. They can go weeks without water and still look great. But give them even one extra drink when the soil is already wet and you risk rot. So less is more when it comes to watering these beauties. So remember, always check the topsoil before reaching for the watering can. Trust me, your aglaonemas will thank you for it. Dry air is another winter challenge. In winters, humidity is naturally very low, and if you are blasting the heater, chances are your plants are feeling the dryness too. Aglaonemas thrive in 50 to 60% humidity, so here's what I do. I mist them lightly every few days or place a pebble tray with water underneath. You can also use humidifier if you want. Which one do you prefer, mist, trays or humidifiers? Let me know in the comments. Aglaonemas don't grow much during this time, so feeding them can actually do more harm than good. Let's give them a break and resume feeding in spring. Now let's talk about propagating aglaonemas and whether you should prune them during winter to make them bushier. Honestly, winter isn't the best time to propagate these plants or do heavy pruning. Here's why. Aglaonemas go into a sort of rest mode during the colder months and with slower growth and lower energy. If you cut them now, it might stress the plant and any new growth will take much longer to emerge. So, if you're thinking of making your plant bushier, it's better to wait until spring or early summer when they have actively growing. That's the ideal time to prune back leggy stems or propagate new plants from cuttings. During winter, focus on maintaining your plant's health rather than encouraging new growth. That being said, if you spot any yellow or damaged leaves, go ahead and snip those off to keep the plants looking neat. Just avoid cutting healthy stems or leaves unless absolutely necessary. The key is to let your plants rest during this time so it can thrive when growing season begins. Here's a quick recap. Do give them bright indirect light, water only when the topsoil is dry, increase humidity, don't fertilize them in winters or expose them to cold drafts. Simple, right? So here's my Aglaonema collection. I'll be honest, I only know the names of a few of them because most nurseries sell these plants under the general name Aglaonema without knowing the specific varieties. For example, this beauty here is Aglaonema Snow White, and this one is an Aglaonema tricolor. I absolutely love its unique pattern. And this one here is my lipstick Aglaonema. But then we come to this one. I have no idea what its name is. Whenever I search online, I cannot find an exact match and it just gets more confusing. This one here I think is called Diamond Bay, but again I'm not 100% sure. And this one, the nursery seller called it red Aglaonema, but I have seen other Aglaonemas with much brighter red leaves than this one. So I'm not entirely convinced. And this one is that I recently propagated. I think it's Aglaonema Mary, or maybe not. If you recognize any of these varieties or know their proper names, please drop a comment below. I would love to finally solve the mystery. That's it for today's video on keeping Aglaonemas happy in winter. I hope these tips help your plants thrive. And if you have any more winter care hacks, drop them in the comments. I would love to hear from you too. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your plant loving friends and subscribe for more plant care tips and updates. Until next time, keep growing, keep thriving, and I'll see you soon.